paid political program. Now it's time for Voice of an Independent Nation. And here's your host, David W. Bowen.
Yes, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you back to the show. Before we get started, I want to give you the phone number, 856-765-1240. You can reach me by email at Bowen, the number 4, Congress @gmail.com. And my website is davidwbowen.com. What we're going to talk about today is, I don't know if you guys realize this, everyone pretty much has, is this week's been pretty interesting. 3 days ago we had a storm, a hurricane come through, and it pretty much affected everybody in an adverse way. With that being said, many people are still out of power. Just heard today that my family up North Jersey was affected, and some of their power just came on today. Fortunate for myself and my family is I was not affected as far as the power. We had no interruption whatsoever. And a few other people in the neighborhood said the same thing. I don't know if God was just looking out for us or what, but I think it was a good thing. But with that being said, other things have been going on. We have Governor Christie flying around, President Obama flying around, and our local congressmen and senators are coming around. And that's very good. They're going to see what kind of devastation, not just hear about it. And I think something positive can come out of this. Well, I can hope for it. We need to do something. But now, because there was such devastation down there, I think we can rebuild and do everything in a more organized manner, not the haphazard way things have done over a period of time. You know, Atlantic City was underwater still. You know, Seaside Heights, total devastation. I mean, I remember going there as a kid and playing on all the rides and going. My biggest place was the Sawmill, going for pizza. In fact, my family and I would still shoot up there just to go have pizza, and it's a 2-hour drive for me. But it's just something that happened, and we need to rebuild it. The boardwalk was totally washed away. Portions of Atlantic City boardwalk were washed away. And this just opens our eyes. You know, we need to take better precautions. I know this storm was a fluke, but it affected us. And we need to take precautions. You know, the amount of money we spend today, tomorrow, next week, you know, we could do it on a gradual basis because, you know, we don't know when this next storm is going to come, if ever. But it doesn't stop us from being prepared. You know, this was a devastation. People lost their lives with this storm, and many more people lost much more as far as personal monetary means. Jobs have been lost, homes, memories, any type of objects that you had that hold sentimental value have been lost down there. And it's a shame, but, you know, nature has a way of correcting itself, I guess. It's not always beneficial to us. As I said, Obama and Christie were flying around. I guess Lobiando got left out in one thing. He wasn't allowed to ride with them, which I found kind of funny. If you watch the news report, Lobiando was left out, and he had to run to catch up just to be brought in. And it just goes to show, I mean, the key people were there. And Lobiando, again, is trying to hang his hat on something that he has nothing to do with. Well, he is congressman of this district, but, you know, he's not really deciding anything. It's between the governor and the president. And I think they did a marvelous job. Partisanship aside, you know, we were able to come through. They were able to come through and make a decision and decide stuff that needed to be done. It wasn't a Republican thing. It wasn't a Democratic thing. It was an American thing. It was a South Jersey thing, an East Coast thing. And that's what everyone needs to realize is, you know, when it comes to this election, it's nice to have your favorites on your partisan party, but the bottom line is every decision that we make today will affect our family tomorrow, and it has nothing to do with what party we belong to or don't belong to. You know, the key thing to remember is, you know, America is falling into a situation that is bad. our fiscal cliff, as everyone keeps talking about, is going to affect us. We borrow too much money, on up until 8, 10, 12 years ago. We didn't have this big of a problem, but now it seems to be more and more obvious that this is a major, major situation, and the only thing to do is to get rid of the people that keep doing it. And that's why I decided to run for Congress, is because I just think what we have there is not working. And it's obvious. You look in our area, for 18 years, Lobiondo's been here, and our area is only getting worse. Unemployment is up. It's not because of Lobiondo, but Lobiondo hasn't done anything to correct it. Unemployment is up. In the 4 whole counties that District 2 represents, Cumberland, Cape May, Atlantic, and Salem, unemployment is bad, especially Cape May, shot up to almost 20%. You have Atlantic County, it was 14%. You get into Salem County, that was 10%, unemployment. And that's just not, it shouldn't be happening. You know what I'm saying? It's just affecting, you figure 1 in 5 people you run into are unemployed. And businesses just don't want to invest. And I tried bringing this up in one of our, you can't call it a debate, but it was a forum when we were talking, and it was like businesses are holding and sitting on $1.7 trillion in cash that they refuse to let go because they have no confidence in what the federal government is doing. And this is where I was saying we need to come together, the federal government, the president, the Congress, along with state governments, and then the local governments, and create an atmosphere where businesses can thrive. We need to cut off the loopholes, stop taxing people. People, if we tax them, they can't spend. We're just taking the money. But if we don't tax them all the way, they'll spend that money on things that they need, and that in turn will create jobs and boost the economy. And that's exactly what we need. So you'll be creating more taxes by not taxing, because people will be spending that same amount of money someplace else, and more people will be working, and likewise businesses will thrive. As I said, businesses right now are afraid to invest, or afraid to hire, because one, the larger businesses don't have to. They have the loophole still. They can invest in other countries and make more money than investing in their own country. I was just reading up on it. There's countries that have hardly any tax. Guatemala doesn't have any tax at all. That's becoming a major haven for a lot of these places. They can just go there and there's no tax. They don't have to pay anything. But what Guatemala is figuring is if we don't charge tax on the businesses, then businesses will come here and we'll charge tax on the people, and we'll get out of our slump. And it seems to be working quite well. I was just reading how Russia is trying to entice a lot of the Canadian billionaires to invest over there. That's our problem, is we're not enticing all the money to come here. We have all the innovation in the world. We have all the know-how that we need. Other countries are still trying to catch up to us, and we're sitting here and just basically throwing it away. And we shouldn't be doing that. It's going to come to a point where our countries aren't trying to catch up to us. We're trying to catch up to them. And, back in the 80s, I was kind of fearful of that happening with Japan. Japan seemed to be blossoming. Then they got a little crazy and they went into financial trouble. Now it's China. And behind China is Russia. Not so much the technology, but the money and all that stuff. China and Russia sticking together, that's a bad thing. I'm not saying there are enemies. I'm saying technology-wise, China just has the resources to pretty much do whatever it wants on many different levels. Getting back to the storm we had, there were a lot of people affected by this and a lot of businesses. And yes, one good thing about us having the storm is in comparison to, like, say, Japan or whatever. I don't know what their services are like over there, but here we have insurance for everything. We have insurance for insurance. Even on my house, I have a homeowner's policy and a car policy, but I have an umbrella policy on everything. So, that's the way that works. And I don't think the people are going to be as affected monetarily as far as losing their house or whatever. I think the key thing is we did lose some lives, which is very troubling, but we lost memories, we lost mementos. That's the key thing that we lost. All the other stuff is replaceable. People lost boats. I mean, a family friend of ours still can't find their boat. It's going to end up down in Georgia someplace for all we know. But, that's the stuff that happens. I have no idea where my brother's boat's at. I think he still has his parked down in Florida. But still, the larger boats is very troublesome. He has a 65-footer, and you just can't pick that up and move it wherever you want. But anyway, with that said, a lot of things have happened, and I think we could take advantage of this. Yes, this is a major, major problem, and it is very troubling for a lot of people. But because it already happened, now I'm hoping that the federal government will step up, along with the local, state and local governments, and actually start planning how we can revitalize this. They did a pretty good job with New Orleans. But the bottom line is, it still has the same situation. We still, down in New Orleans, we still have the levees that were questionable, okay? Here, okay, the East Coast, the Jersey Shore, there are no levees. But we could put barriers out there, barrier reefs, it sounds kind of funny, but barrier reefs in front of the barrier islands to protect them, because they're $1 million properties, some of them. And we need to protect them. And if you were anything like me growing up, I spent most of my childhood down there. I love the Jersey Shore, but we do have to protect it. But there are other things we need to work on too. But if we're going to do it, then I think we need to think about it properly and plan it strategically as to what is the best way to do it. Put things in specific areas, and it just goes along with my saying as far as the rebuilding of the roads. Now we have the opportunity. If we can get the money, we can revamp all this and do just what is needed and rebuild the roads as I wanted. I had somebody question my road plan as far as building a new bridge across Delaware, Jersey, and the road going from that bridge across the bottom portion of New Jersey into the Garden State Parkway and down, expanding Route 55. The expansion of Route 55 is something they've been talking about since Route 55's inception. They just decided to stop for certain reasons. Somebody was talking about wetlands or whatever, but they came up with a solution for that. They're going to raise the road up. And there's actually plans of doing it. I just came across them. It wasn't my idea. It was actually an older idea, longer than I've been alive, because 55's been there since, I believe, 69 or something like that. Well, I'm 65, so I was born in 65, sorry. But anyway, with that said, it's not my idea. It's just something I came across, because if you've ever gone down to the Wildwood area or Ocean City or Summers Point or anything like that, you run out of road, and then you have to take 47. At that point, it's aggravating. A lot of people learned the new way of 347, cuts you out of the loop. But the bottom line is, it's still, you're going through people's towns, and you got lights and you got traffic. They need to open that up. But getting back to the road going across, I think that'll definitely boost our economy, our local economy, our district economy. And we need to do that because our area is suffering pretty bad. Jobs are leaving. All the big manufacturing jobs are leaving. I was just hearing a report coming in how manufacturing is starting to come back. But yet, do you see anybody really out there cheerleading to bring the businesses here? I don't see that. We need to work on a state and federal level as well as a local level to bring the businesses back. If we open up the bottom portion with roads, that gives the businesses an avenue to come into our area. If there's no road system, they can't get deliveries, they can't ship out. It costs too much money to do that if we don't do this, and I think it will hurt us. And like somebody was questioning, how are we going to pay for this? How will we pay for anything? There is money set aside, it's just not everybody is using it. Why can't we use that money to bring that road in? Like I said, it'll open up for all kinds of industry coming in. You listen to one of my competitors, they were talking about they want to create jobs, but they want to do it in the solar industry. Now, I think solar is very good. It is a business and energy source that is renewable. The problem is, we can't have somebody manufacture the solar panels here because of the mere fact that China has such an abundance of these solar panels that they're flooding the market, and they're actually selling them below cost. This is a big thing. I think it's 180 or 180 companies are going out of business in the next 3 years who manufacture these. Not all American companies, this is worldwide, but there's so many panels out there that we just can't sell them quick enough. Nobody can. The world can't. So even though that is a lucrative market, there's already a product there. So to set up a manufacturing facility, we're just going to have another Solyndra on our hands. And I just think that's not necessary. Now, there is a new company out there. I don't know if they have a completed project yet or a working project, but they have already sold a lot. And if you notice any solar fields, they take up a lot of real estate, a lot of flat land that is buildable. And the problem with that is, we could put other things there. We could put other businesses there. And with that, there's this company that I'm looking at. And what it does is they create a series of panels that are set up, and it looks like something like a tree, a Christmas tree. And it takes up 1 meter of space. And you can set up like a telephone pole and have 10 of these on there. And what each one does, what I call tree, gives you 1 kilowatt of power. Okay? And if you have a tree of 10 of these, that'll give you 10 kilowatts of power, and that'll pretty much run a larger size house. But the thing is, it doesn't take up that much space. You could have a pole in your yard and square off a good 25 feet in your yard in comparison to taking up a good portion of your backyard for the existing technology that's out there. And I think we need to look into that. Another thing that I've been noticing is I've mentioned it several times, not on this radio station, but on my other station, and in my writings and on my website, is down in Deepwater by the Delaware Memorial Bridge, we have a plant down there, a processing plant. And what that does is it clears out all the water that these fracking companies, hydraulic fracking companies, are using from Pennsylvania. And then they ship all their contaminated water over to our New Jersey site, and that site is supposed to clean out all the contaminants and then release the water back into nature. The problem is it's not proven that it can take out all 623 dangerous cancer-causing chemicals before it puts it back into the environment. And with that, that worries me because people are not paying attention. Another thing we need to pay attention to, and there's a lot of write-up about it, and there's been a couple bills brought up about as far as the EPA and all that, is the contaminants released by our manufacturing facilities. And EPA has gone heavily because of Obama against the coal manufacturing, which releases a lot of carbon. But, we need to correct these, because our environment that we're trying to save today could end up killing us tomorrow or the next week. You understand what I'm saying? But we do need to work on that. With that said, other things that are involving businesses, financing. I just read that businesses who want to expand, who are caught up in this election and all that stuff, and they want to expand, can't because they can't find the funding to do that. Now, I think we as a government, we federal, state, and local, need to open up avenues for people who have businesses or people who want to start businesses to be able to fund those ideas and that expansion. Without money, nobody's going to be able to do anything. And we can all sit here and complain about it. Every one of the candidates that are running in every district across America, but without the money, our jobs programs or anything is not going to happen. Apparently Obama back 2.5 years ago had a Jobs Act, and Congress just sat on it. They didn't want to do anything. you know. And whether you like Obama or not, if it's a good plan, I haven't read it completely, but I have read some of it, and it does sound like it does cover a lot of bases. The problem is we can't get it passed. You know, we need to, like I said, what's affecting America is not a partisan problem. It's an American problem, and we need to put our parties aside and decide what's best for America, what's best for our district, what's best for our families. Because as I said a few minutes ago, what affects us today will hurt our families tomorrow. And we definitely need to work on that, and it's up to us. If we make the wrong decision come Tuesday in 5 days, you know, our families are going to be hurting, you know, because I think both candidates president candidates are trying to push for a war with Iran, and I don't know that much about it. The research I have done states that even though they are a terroristic country, that we can come to a peaceful solution. They do want to have talks, but keep in mind the president that's there now is leaving in June. So we're going to be attacking a country. And he's not the total authority. The Ayatollah is. You know, he's just somebody they elect. The Ayatollah is still the main guy. And I don't know if you remember the 70s, but we already dealt with the Ayatollah. Anyway, other things going on as far as the unemployment and everything, we have to do job training. It's not just a matter of funding businesses. The business that are there, or people like the veterans that are coming back, we need to train them better. Welfare recipients, we need to get them out there working. We need to train them. And you're giving them free money. Now is the perfect time to put everybody to work. You're already giving them money through unemployment, welfare, and all that. Let's get their butts down to the Jersey Shore and New York, or have New York do their own program. But, you know, let's get them down there. There is so much help that is needed down these things. My wife was just showing me a website that we're going to do, and it's basically volunteering, going down to, I think it's Egg Harbor Township, and that's where the base is, and we're going to go out and help people. We're going to go out and do all kinds of things. If we need to help clean up for the houses or whatever, we're going to do it, you know. And it's not just me running as Congress saying that. It's me. This is what I've been doing ever since I was in school. You know, this is what everyone should do. You know, go out, shake somebody's hand, and offer them a cup of coffee or whatever, and help them in any way you can. John Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, I heard Christina Aguilera and Sting, they're going to be putting a benefit with the concert with the Red Cross, and they're going to be asking for all kinds of money. And I think this is great. You know, I'm a big Bon Jovi fan, but at the same token, you know, we did all this for Haiti. We did all this for other countries. I'm sorry? Katrina, yeah, that too. Major problem. And what we need to do is do it for here too. You know, there's no reason why we can't offer a little bit of our money. You know, $5 here. We keep giving $5 to Obama because I get an email 20 times a day for Obama. Offer to have dinner with Obama if you donate $5. It used to be $3, but now it's $5. I guess in the next couple of days it's going to be $10. But you understand what I'm saying. If we could do that, we can give a couple dollars. But it's not just a matter of monetary. We can go out there and offer a little bit of assistance. You know, go work at a kitchen down there, help out, feed some of these people. You know, because those people are actually our relatives, friends of our friends, you know, people we know, people we don't know, we can know. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. They're Americans. They're our friends. I mean, they're our neighbors, you know. It's not like it's refugees coming in from a foreign country. These are people that we could have passed 100 times in the Walmarts and everything. We're getting down to the last couple minutes, so I apologize for my rambling on. I can do this for hours, which you know from my other radio station, but we have a short amount of time, and I try to touch base with what's important. This is the last radio show I'll be doing here before the election. So I want you guys to go out, look at my website, email me if you have any questions, and get out there and vote. Like I said, my website is davidwbowen.com. My email address is Bowen, the number 4, Congress @gmail.com. Do not hesitate to write me, ask me any questions you want. I will go over any issues that you have questions with. You may see me out and about. I am out there still campaigning. I'm trying to get down to the Jersey Shore to see what kind of damage, because like I said, I do have family, friends, and other things going on down there that I do want to personally check out, but I will only go if I'm allowed. It was a pleasure. You guys have yourself a good week, and don't forget to vote.
You've been listening to Voice of an Independent Nation.